Pat, thanks so much for making some time to talk with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Happy to. Good to see you.
I appreciate it. Pat, an important but a very simple question. Why does Pat Toomey want to be the next senator from the state of Pennsylvania? Tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, I really believe our federal government is heading down the wrong path. I think they're pursuing a lot of policies that are going to be very damaging to our future, our Pennsylvanians' futures, our kids, our grandkids. I think serial bailouts of failing companies is a big mistake. I think the level of spending is completely out of control, and it's dumping on us a level of deficits and debts that's unaffordable. I think really we're getting some pretty extreme policies from one party having complete control of the government and ignoring the other party. And I think I can bring some balance, some fiscal discipline, and I'm convinced that I know what we need to do to get the economy growing again.
Pat, tell me about, in terms of the voter, Pat Toomey versus Arlen Specter. What's the main issue, the overarching theme that you want voters to think about?
Well, I think the difference is there are a set of ideas that I believe in and I want to advance. I believe in individual freedom and free enterprise and limited government and fiscal discipline. It's a set of principles that I've been very clear about and that I will advance in the U.S. Senate. I think Arlen Specter has made it clear that the only principle that's important to him is his own reelection. And he'll join any party, he'll take any position, he'll say or do anything. And that's a big, important contrast and makes a difference.
In terms of Arlen Specter, do you think, Pat, that he's made President Obama's lurch to the left, if you will, a lot easier in terms of nationalizing our health care?
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, he started off by, supporting all the bailouts. He provided the deciding vote for the giant stimulus bill, and he's provided deciding votes on issue after issue. He said when he switched parties that he would still be an independent-minded senator. In fact, that's not true. He's been a far-left liberal senator at the left end of the spectrum. So again, that's because he sees a primary challenge on the Democratic side. It's unfortunate, but I think he's really way out of step with Pennsylvania voters.
It would seem so. On his website, he's still calling for a public option. The current health care plan that President Obama is pushing forward is not enough for him, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. He's trying to position himself to the left of Obama to try to attract liberal Democratic primary voters because of his primary challenge. But this is the same Arlen Specter that adamantly insists that he was opposed to the public option on national TV.
This is true.
But as soon as he switched parties, he decided he'd switch positions too. He's done that on many issues.
Now, talking about President Obama real briefly, what do you think about the president's work so far in terms of his tenure, in terms of keeping our country safe, the war on terrorism, although they don't use that term?
Yeah. A very much mixed review. I agree with the president's decision on Afghanistan. I think it's unfortunate but necessary that we put in a surge of increased troops to fight a counterinsurgency war, which is what we have there. It's going to require more troops. So I agree with the president. I support his decision on that. But I think he has made some big mistakes about how to keep America safe. For instance, this decision when the Christmas airplane bomber came over and tried to kill 300 people, innocent civilians in that aircraft. It seems to me the most important thing for a president of the United States to do is to make sure this person is interrogated so that we can find out more about this threat. Where's he coming from? Who's training him? Who's behind it? Where's the money? How many others are planning similar attacks? We need to learn those things. Instead, the president immediately insisted that we file criminal charges, give him a lawyer, read him his Miranda rights, and forgo the opportunity to interrogate him as we need to. I think that is a huge judgment error, and it's a reflection of the fact that this administration doesn't seem to recognize the nature of this threat. It's a war. It's not a series of criminal events, and it needs to be treated as such.
Would it be fair to say then that Arlen Specter's work with the president, in essence, is making Americans, Pennsylvanians, perhaps less safe?
I'm not sure where Arlen Specter is on this. He's been keeping a very unusually low profile on a legal issue. He usually prides himself in being out front on that. Joe Sestak, on the other hand, who I think actually has an equally good chance of winning the Democratic primary, Joe Sestak came out and said that it was a great decision to take Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, and to give him all the privileges of a criminal civil trial, civilian trial in New York, which I think is outrageous. And so I assume that Joe is fully in favor of this most recent decision. This, this Christmas bomber is not an American. He's not even a resident here. He gets in a plane to try to kill everybody on board, and to think that we don't see that as an act of war, it's very disturbing to me.
Pat, what role does faith play in your life, both politically and in terms of your family life?
Well, I was born and raised and am a practicing Catholic. I'm sure I need more practice, but that is, yes, that's right, well, I'll do. That's my faith, and I think that my upbringing and my current, participation really informs my judgment about, just about everything. I mean, it's part of who I am.
Terrific. Pat, thanks so much for making some time tonight. Good luck.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.